Okie dokie. Let's start off with a nice view of downtown. Look at that. These are my favorite days. Brilliant blue sky, not a cloud to be found. Nice and comfortable. Oh, man, what a stunner of a Sunday it was to be outside, especially this afternoon. Going to be golden hour here over the next 30 minutes. Thanks to the time change, we've got those later sunsets that are back. And I got it set in the background behind me. As we go through our chat tonight, hi there, Carson Meredith with you. It is Sunday evening, March 8th. And we're here. We're rolling along. And it's quiet for now, but there's still a lot to discuss over the next 10 days. So sit back, relax, and let's talk weather, shall we? Get you outside to more of our SkyTrack cameras. Most of these are around the city or the metro area, I suppose. 61 in Jeffersonville and downtown, 62 just across the river in New Albany. And Paristown looks like it's busy on this Sunday night where they are right at 60 degrees. Just a beautiful afternoon, a beautiful evening. And if you liked what you saw earlier today, you are going to love what we have in store on Monday. If you can try to find a way to get out of work tomorrow, I don't blame you, because tomorrow is going to be the nicest day that we will see for a bit. There'll be some nice days here or there, but I think tomorrow is going to be the best we have for a while. 44 is our forecast low tonight. We'll keep the mostly clear skies you see behind me, but it will be cool. So you might want that light jacket heading out the door tomorrow morning. But you'll be able to shed those layers, those jackets and jeans as we go into the afternoon, go with t-shirt and shorts. So we start off in the mid 40s here in the city tomorrow morning, low 40s elsewhere. But look how quickly we warm up tomorrow. Man, oh man, oh man. 74. That is our forecast high here in Louisville on Monday. Some of you in our northeast counties, North and East, I suppose, may stay in the upper 60s, but I really think a lot of us, well, I think all of us will top out in the low 70s Monday afternoon. Just a gorgeous day tomorrow. Is it going to be a perfectly blue sky? Not necessarily. I think we'll have some clouds from time to time, but we will have a ton of sunshine again. Just a few clouds. But that's splitting hairs. It's going to be a stunning day to get outside tomorrow. Enjoy it. It's going to be breezy, not a big deal, but just want to mention there could still be some wind gusts around 15, 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. So a bit breezy, but that southerly breeze is obviously the reason why we're heading for the 70s again for your Monday. So that's the short and sweet version of what lies ahead over the next 24 hours. Now we get into Tuesday. That's when things start to get a little busy again. Now here's Futurecast for Monday night, really early Tuesday morning. This is 3 a.m. Tuesday. So high pressure is drifting to the east, or it will be drifting to the east throughout the day tomorrow. That's why we'll have a few more clouds moving in. That's also why we're going to be warmer tomorrow. As we go into Monday night, we're going to get an increase in moisture from the south and west that will thicken up the clouds and perhaps give us, as you see here on Futurecast, a few light showers. There was some concern that we could have thunderstorms tomorrow night, or at least a few isolated storms. I'm not really seeing that anymore. I think if we have anything late tomorrow night, early Tuesday morning, it would just be in the form of these light showers, and that's it. Now, Tuesday during the day is trending drier. I've dropped those storm chances during the day Tuesday to about 30%, and quite honestly, I think I could go lower if I wanted to, but I want to look over more data tonight before I do that. So as we go through Tuesday morning, you notice it's cloudy, but it's very, very warm. We'll bottom out around 60 Tuesday morning, so a mild start to the day, and we'll surge into the upper 70s in a lot of spots despite the clouds. But you still notice on Futurecast a couple of showers from time to time Tuesday morning. Now, the big question is going to be Tuesday afternoon. Again, I've dropped those storm chances Tuesday afternoon, but we'll be warm. We'll be quite warm in the mid to upper 70s. So it's not out of the question for at least a few pop-ups to develop here or there. Kind of like you would see on a summer day, perhaps. I don't think it's a huge chance. It's about a 30% chance for now. But that's something we'll watch during the day on Tuesday. And that does not really concern me when you're talking about severe weather. Could there be a couple of storms that have 30, 40 mile an hour gusts like we had Saturday? Sure. But I don't see a major severe weather problem Tuesday during the day. In fact, like I said, the trends just keep getting drier and drier and drier for Tuesday. So we may be able to drop those storm chances even more in future updates. But for now, we'll keep that chance during the day just in case. It's Tuesday night and especially Wednesday that still has our attention. Wednesday, March 11th is a wave weather alert day because we still expect a strong cold front to roll through, and that risk for severe storms is still with us on Wednesday. The broad overview still remains the same. I'm not diving into the specifics just yet when you look at this graphic, but in general, we're going to be focused on that risk for strong to severe storms Wednesday, as well as heavy rain. What concerns me about the heavy rain component with this system is this cold front is a bit of a slow mover until it actually gets a move on, right? It's just kind of meandering nearby. And obviously, with all the rain we've had the last week, any more heavy rain we get will cause more flooding issues faster, especially for those of you across southern Indiana that have seen over half a foot of rain over the last week. So yes, this dry time we've had is good, but the ground's pretty soppy. It's pretty muddy. And those creeks and rivers, like we talked about last night, especially for you guys up along the White River near Seymour, they're running high. So it won't take much to cause more flooding concerns. Now, when you're talking about the severe weather component, for now, we'll still say all modes are on the table. Damaging wind gusts, perhaps some hail, especially if these storms roll through during the afternoon and evening, early evening. And that spin-up tornado risk is there too. We'll start to be able to get in more of those nitty-gritty specific details tomorrow. But we're still kind of looking at this 30,000 feet above before we can narrow down on it starting on Monday. Now, here's the severe weather risk map for Tuesday. And I want to emphasize here, because this is where it gets a little confusing. Yes, we've got that chance for pop-up storms Tuesday afternoon, but this severe weather risk for Tuesday is focused on any storms we see Tuesday night, not Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. And you notice, while we do have a marginal risk that covers a lot of our counties, basically from the parkways north, the higher threat zones are to our north and west, like we talked about the last couple of days. Why is that? That's where the cold front's going to be on Tuesday. In fact, I'll zoom it out. And you can see a slight risk covers all the way from Chicago down to the border, down to the Texas border. So this could be a pretty widespread swath of at least some severe weather across the heartland on Tuesday. And obviously, you see that enhanced risk in that dark orange color for northern Illinois and parts of Missouri. So the greater severe threat on Tuesday is to our north and to our west. Again, any storms we see during the day on Tuesday, they'd be more the summer-like storms, kind of the pop-ups. And if we get any more organized storms, it wouldn't be until Tuesday night. But quite honestly, I'm more focused on Wednesday when it comes to severe weather. Speaking of, there's the severe risk map we showed you yesterday or last night. Really hasn't changed a ton. The entire area, by and large, is still under that slight risk, level 2 for severe weather on Wednesday. We'll get more specific severe weather risk levels starting tomorrow as well. So this is kind of the last night where we have to look at this big picture. Monday, we can really start to deep dive into the more specific data as far as timing, as far as higher risk zones, as far as what threats we're watching and things of that nature. So hopefully that makes sense. Here's Futurecast. 5 o'clock Tuesday, scattered storms, but again, the trend has been drier, which, by the way, if we don't see as many scattered storms on Tuesday afternoon, there's a good chance we make a run for 80 despite clouds. A lot of you stay in the 70s, but I wouldn't rule out 80 in the city, especially if we don't have as many storms Tuesday afternoon. But you see the cold front still hung up to our north and northwest. So that's where the main show is going to be heading into Tuesday afternoon and evening across Illinois, Missouri, maybe further south and west into Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Here's 10 p.m. Severe weather still ongoing along that front. If my pen will work, there you go. While here at home, we're still not seeing a ton. Again, I may be able to drop those storm chances more on Tuesday. Then we get into Wednesday. Here's Wednesday morning. Now, again, what's a little concerning about this front, obviously it's a stronger front, but notice how it just kind of meanders to the south and east. Takes its sweet old time. If that were to be the case and it just takes its time to make its way towards us, then you're going to have more persistent heavy rain, especially across southern Indiana, early on the day on Wednesday. And that's where I get more concerned about flooding again for you guys up near Seymour, Bloomington, North Vernon, those of you up there that have been dealing with flooding already. So that's kind of one component to this. Now, what may work in our favor is, okay, if we have more of a heavy rain concern, that might work over the atmosphere more to where we see a slightly diminished severe threat. I don't want you to take comfort in that necessarily. I'm just giving you an idea that it might be a bit of a balancing act between which threat is worse, heavy rain or severe storms. It may be a situation where you guys in southern Indiana, closer to the front, are socked into that rain and storm coverage or just the heavy rain all day Wednesday, while the main severe threat is further south across Kentucky down to Tennessee. And we just got to wait for that high-res data to get really specific on that. But you get the idea. This front moves in. It's a slow mover, so we're all going to see heavy rain. It just depends on where you are that decides how much heavy rain you see. And as this front starts to slide into our area Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening, that's when the severe storm risk will also come into play. Again, the general timing still looks Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Obviously, that's not good timing because obviously it's the rush hour, kid trying to pick up the kids, trying to get home. So even if there's no severe weather, it's still going to be pouring rain, which is not good. But that's also where you could have the most storm fuel during the warmest part of the day for these storms to intensify and potentially go strong to severe. So yeah, I think there's a higher heavy rain concern in Indiana again this go round. If I had to nail down a specific area for severe concerns where the severe threat's higher, my gut feeling is along and south of the Ohio River for now. Obviously, that could still change. So here's 6 o'clock Wednesday night. This is the European model again, by the way. And as we go late into Wednesday night, this front finally starts to get a move on. And it looks like the water valve is going to shut off pretty quickly once this front moves through. I don't see a ton of wraparound moisture with this because the low pressure is way off to our north and east. It's not in the Great Lakes. It's going to be up in Canada. So I don't see a major concern for any rain turning to snow Thursday morning. It looks like once this front gets through here, Wednesday night, we can dry things out, and Thursday looks cooler, but it looks pretty good. So Wednesday is really going to be the crazy day, I suppose, for this upcoming work week. Here's the full 10-day. I know I've been rambling, so let's check the comments. See what you guys got for me on this Sunday night. Who's here? Blue's here. Hello, hello. Hi, Noodlehead. Weather Geek. Somebody broke into the house, said all the clocks ahead. Yeah. I was surprisingly awake this morning. Maybe it was adrenaline. I don't know, but I made it. We're still here. Hello, Anita. Yes, it was a beautiful day indeed. Hello, Wizard of Night. Hi, Gary. Nice sunny evening in Pewee Valley. Yes, sir. Crispy, how we doing? DJ King, Chonda. The whole crew's here. Michelle, I've waited all weekend for snow. It's been beautiful all weekend. Kentucky weather. Well, we didn't have snow in the forecast this weekend. We never had that. Next weekend, or after next weekend, as you see on the 10-day, might be a different story. I'll get to that in a second. Hi, Linda. Yeah, hoping to watch the news at 6, but golf was on. But yes, as long as I'm working on weekends, I'm doing a live stream 9.5 times out of 10 each evening on weekends. But yeah, golf took out our 6 o'clock newscast tonight on TV. So we have no control of that. That's up to NBC. And it's just the way it is. It happens from time to time. So we were ready. We were ready until they told us that we weren't having a show. So it's just the way it goes sometimes. All right. Creek flooding with this front possible? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Generally speaking, I think we're all looking at another 1 to 2 inches of rain with this. If you're in southern Indiana, you're kind of in a position where you're going to be socked into that heavy rain for much of the day on Wednesday, potentially. I could easily see those rainfall amounts again going over 2 inches in Indiana on Wednesday. But in general, we'll say 1 to 2 for now. But again, the ground is so saturated, so it's not going to take much for these creeks and rivers to start going up again. And it's not going to take much to cause at least some minor, street flooding or, things of that nature. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but also that severe weather component this go round is going to be more of a factor than what we've had to deal with the last week or so. Hi, Scott. Tornado risk Tuesday into Wednesday. I don't see a tornado risk on Tuesday at all, personally. Wednesday, I think there will be a risk for a few spin-ups, yes, especially, let me put it this way. The more dry time you have on Wednesday, the more storm fuel you're going to have as this cold front moves through, which means the higher the threat will be for strong to severe storms. But if you're socked into rain all day on Wednesday, your severe threat will be lower, but your flooding risk will be higher. So again, it's that balancing act that we'll have to contend with on Wednesday. But yes, I do think the risk is there for at least a couple of spin-ups Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Damaging wind, straight line wind is the main issue at this stage of the game. Crispy, do we have the potential for a higher than slight risk Wednesday? Yes, I think that is possible. I would not be shocked if we saw an enhanced risk for parts of the area. Would it be south of the river? Hard to say. But I wouldn't completely rule out an enhanced risk. Right now, it's probably just going to stay at a slight. But if we get more confident that we'll have more instability, maybe not quite as much heavy rain, but more instability, then I could see an enhanced being put out there. But for now, when you see the updated map tomorrow, I think it would be more of a slight risk still at this point. Hello, Rita, watching us down in Glasgow. Shout out. There's some friends of mine who are from Glasgow. Good place, good people. All right, so that's where the comments stand for now. If you have any more, just send them my way. I'll get to them. Let's look at the rest of the 10-day beyond Wednesday. Let's see. We mentioned Thursday is going to be cooler behind that front, obviously, high of 51. A lot of you will be in the 40s Thursday. Cool day, but it should be okay. Friday, there will be another front moving through. A quick hitting front. Doesn't have a ton of moisture with it. But ahead of that Friday front, it's going to be quite windy. Still looking at that 30 to 35 mile an hour range for those wind gusts on Friday. That front scoots through Friday evening. Maybe a couple showers, not a ton. And then we get towards the end of next weekend. 1 week from tonight specifically. Snow lovers, listen up. So we get this cold front moving in Sunday night, March 15th. So 1 week from tonight. Models are actually in pretty good agreement that this front's moving in next Sunday night. Obviously, that could still change, but there's decent agreement 7 days out, which is always nice. Showers mainly with this front, perhaps a few storms. I do not see a severe threat right now with this front next Sunday night. I don't see much of a severe threat for now, but we'll babysit it. So this front moves through, and then we kind of get back into a more wintry weather pattern where you've got these disturbances flying in from the northwest for several days, maybe up to a week. We've talked about this for months. Mid-March would get a little more cold and a little more wintry. So what does that look like at this point? Well, models are still struggling with what happens next Monday, March 16th. The European that I'm showing you has this pretty dry. However, the GFS wants to hang some moisture around into next Monday to where we could see rain showers turn to a few snowflakes, or we just kind of have that mix of rain and snow showers. So that's one thing we're watching next Monday. Next Tuesday, during the day, it looks pretty dry for now. But look what's lurking up in Iowa and Illinois. Aha. It's another clipper. And the cold air will be in place. Is this going to be a huge snowstorm? Probably not. But it could be a nice little St. Patty's Day treat, I suppose. St. Patrick's Day is next Tuesday. Well, again, the next Tuesday night into the following Wednesday. Chances there. It'll be a mix. It will be a mixed bag of everything. But there's going to be at least one, maybe two opportunities for a rain-snow mix next week, March 16th, 17th, 18th, that ballpark. That's where things could get real interesting, snow lovers. Winter storms, not ready to say that yet. I don't think so personally. But you know what? Maybe one last good dose of winter before we wrap up this season. So that is what we'll be watching towards the end of the 10-day. You notice those temperatures will crash. We'll be back in the 40s for several days next week with those overnight lows in the 20s. And it's probably going to be a situation where it's all about the timing of when each of those systems scoots through. They move through during the day, it's mostly rain. But if they move in at night, okay, then you can have a mixed bag of rain and snow. So it looks interesting as we get towards next week, towards St. Patrick's Day. So one last dose of winter, we'll see. But for now, it's all about spring. Um, 74 tomorrow, 77 on Tuesday. By the way, you see for Tuesday, the Indiana statewide tornado drill is still scheduled for Tuesday morning. I have not heard any changes to that plan. I don't see any severe concerns at that time on Tuesday yet. So if the forecast is quiet at 10:15 Tuesday morning, maybe they'll proceed with the tornado drill. Haven't heard an official word on that yet. So we'll assume it's still on. The alert day will be out for Wednesday. Again, more specifics on that starting tomorrow, I should say. And then we turn to next weekend and the following week with another front next Sunday night, and then maybe some wintry mischief behind it. All right. What questions, comments, complaints, thoughts, concerns do we have before we wrap it up tonight? Let me know. Let me know. You guys are quiet tonight. Daniel, any strong tornado concern on Wednesday? I don't see a big strong tornado concern. I think it would be a lot more of these spin ups that are like the EF0 or EF1 type. Now, with those spin ups along a big line of storms, you can absolutely still get EF2 tornadoes. Heck, remember last April, the East End tornado that went through the East End of Louisville was an EF3, and it was in a squall line. So that can happen, yes. For now, I wouldn't stress about that too much. I think we'll be more focused on these little spin ups that are only on the ground for like a mile, if that. And they're in the EF0, EF1 range. Still dangerous, but I'm not too worried about EF3 or higher. EF2, maybe. EF2, maybe. So we'll see. This will be a good test of the new intensity levels that the Storm Prediction Center has when it comes to assessing what potential strength tornadoes we may see out of this setup on Wednesday. Good question. Hey, Shonda, if we get more rain and clouds Wednesday, that should lessen the severe risk. Right. That's honestly what happened yesterday. Now, granted, yesterday was not as potent of a system, but the general concept is the same. We had an initial round of storms kind of get out ahead of the main show, cooled the atmosphere down, kept things in check. We have that same setup on Wednesday. Yeah, that could help to limit the severe threat again, especially in Indiana, where I think you guys will probably deal with more of a heavy rain setup than severe weather. But flip it around, and you don't see as much rain during the day on Wednesday, then you'll have more instability, and then you'll have more severe storm problems. So it's just that balance that, again, we've got to nail down, and we'll start to be able to really define those specific threats, specific times, and specific areas as we go through the day tomorrow and into Tuesday and obviously Wednesday. Once you get within 3 days of a severe weather event, that's when you can really start to dial in all the specifics with it. Hello, Anna. Looking forward to next Friday. Yeah, it'll be fine Friday. Just windy, but it looks pretty dry until Friday evening, and even then, it doesn't look like much of a rain chance. We'll see what happens towards the end of next weekend for sure with that next front, I suppose. It comes in 1 week from tonight, and then beyond it might be winter's potential last hurrah. Maybe. We'll see. All right, guys. Y'all good? Looks like it. So hopefully it all made sense. So busy days ahead, busy week ahead. So go enjoy tomorrow while we got it. And enjoy the dry time on Tuesday. Again, I think Tuesday is actually trending drier. So a couple of days in the 70s ahead, and then all eyes are on Wednesday with that storm threat. All right. That's going to do it, guys. Appreciate you watching. If you are looking for our newscast We will be on tonight on Wave News at 11. We do have basketball on tonight. We should start on time, though, at 11 o'clock. So if you want to get a quick check of your headlines and your forecast before you go to bed tonight, we should be on at 11 p.m. Shouldn't run too terribly late, if at all. And the rest of the crew will be here through the week. Brian should be back with Storm Talk tomorrow morning, I would assume, around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. All right, guys, that's it for me. I will catch you guys tonight on Wave News at 11. If you don't see me then, I'll see you next weekend. Take care.